We're live. We are live. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Super excited to be here with you all. Let's get this show on the road. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about you. We're talking about how amazing you are and the fact that when you put your mind to something, you can do anything. Good morning to everyone on Instagram. Good morning to everybody on Facebook. There we are. I need to just share this in two different places. Guys, you can share this as well. I share it every day in two different places. Why don't you share it? Bottom left-hand corner, I dare you. I dare you just to think for a moment that someone else might watch this, especially with what I'm going to be talking to you about today, because personally, I feel that everyone needs to hear what I'm about to say. Maybe not everyone wants to hear it, but I feel everyone needs to hear it. So, good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me loud and clear? There we go. Done. Shared. There we go. Shared. Good morning. Welcome to day 3. It's Wednesday. I'm in the beautiful island of Madeira. I will be going live maybe tomorrow, I think. I'm going to take you all on an excursion of this beautiful city. I'll let you know what time that is going to be, so you can just see it's so beautiful here, and there's so many things I'd like to share with you. And it's one of the great things with social media is being able to share, because when they say a problem shared is a problem halved, and I love the fact that there's so many of you in the community of My365 who are sharing what you're going through. And I have got so much amazing stuff that I'm going to be imparting with you and giving you the best tips, tools, techniques, and strategies for you to have an incredible life. But I encourage you to write that down first of all, that you want an incredible life. You want an amazing life. You want things to get better. But in order for things to get better, we have to get better. Does that make sense? So we've been talking about this week about you and your duck. Now, everyone has what I would call a duck. You might call it something else. You might call it your inner critic, your inner voice. Everyone has one. Everyone talks to themselves. Some people talk to themselves all of the time, or at least that's what they think. So this week is all about helping you change the way you talk to yourself. Do you think that just for a moment, that if you spoke to yourself in a different way, your life would be different? Does anyone think that right now? Show me some hearts on Facebook if you think, my life would be different if I changed the way that I talk to myself. So look, in massive agreement there, right? The way you talk to yourself affects everything. It affects it affects your feelings. Your feelings affect your actions. So think about it. The way you talk to yourself, it affects how you feel. Your feelings affect your actions. Your actions affect everything in life. So to change the way you talk to yourself changes everything. But this means taking what I would call, and I would encourage you to write this down, extreme ownership. Extreme. To take real ownership of what you're saying to yourself. You see, for so many of us, we don't even realize what we're saying to ourselves most of the time. So this is really important, and this is one of the things that I learned from my coach. I had a coach for 15 years of my life. He helped me with every aspect. And he said to me this one day, he said, "Pete, what is the nature of the mind?" Now, I'm someone who studied psychology, and I gave him some theoretical description, blah, 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 blah. And he went, listen, the nature of your mind is... Now, before I tell you what I think the nature of the mind is, what's the nature of your mind? What's your mind like? How would you describe it? This is where things start to get a little interesting. This is where things start to get a little fun in my eyes. If you can see this as fun, and you can see this as a project or a game, this is a game. Life is a game. That's how I see it. It's a game. You're playing a game. I'm playing a game. How are you playing the game? Are you playing it well? Are you happy with the way you're playing the game? Or do you think, you know what? I could play this game a little bit differently. It's like when you look at people who watch every day on Facebook, you can look at the numbers. The numbers always start off really high. Monday, Tuesday, sometimes they're a little bit higher, and then slowly they start to come down, because that's how people are playing this game. They're playing the game of self-development, working on themselves in a way where they're not all in. They're not fully committed. They're not fully committed to doing what is necessary to make themselves the best they can be. Because this is your choice, right, guys? You have a choice today. Today, you have an opportunity to be brilliant. You have an opportunity to be significant. You have an opportunity to make yourself proud. But the nature of your mind is this. Your mind, it plays tricks on you. That's what your mind does. Your mind is a trickster, right? Does that make sense? How many of you would agree? Throw me some thumbs up. You think, yeah, my mind is a trickster. Have you ever been walking down the road and you thought that someone was behind you and you looked back and there was no one there? Have you ever worried about something and then realized, hey, I didn't really need to worry about that at all? Have you ever gone over and over and over and over things? This is what your mind does. It plays tricks on you. And that's okay, because that's what every mind does. Because your mind, this is very important stuff for you guys to get your head around. Your mind is a channel. That's what it is. It is a channel. And if you put it somewhere, it can do a really good job for you. It's just most of us put our mind where it's been before. How many of you have ever watched Star Trek? If you've never watched it, I'm sure you know those words. To boldly go where no man has gone before. If you want to go somewhere that you've not been before, it can feel a bit weird, it can feel a bit odd, and your brain, it's a trickster, it wants to go where it's been before, it wants to go back there. So every time you try to do something different, you're up against yourself. How do you win? You've got to start observing what your mind is saying to you. And this is what I'm asking you to do. It's to take the voice out of your head. I mean, it's in your head, right? Pete, you could be going, yeah, Pete, you're right. Or Pete, you're an idiot. Or Pete, why are you wearing a black top with an X on it with a blue t-shirt? The colors don't match. The quality of your life comes down to the quality of the conversation that you are having with your duck. Now, the reason we sent a duck to all of our elite members is we want our elite members to start being able to back off and observe what you're saying in your head. Can you do this? Can everyone do this? Do you have an imagination? Can you imagine that this duck is talking to you rather than you talking to yourself? It's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? You see, when you start to do this, you'll realize that you have power. Power. You have power. Power is your ability to do something different. Power, that means action. And by the way, if you want to manifest power, work with people. Work with like-minded people. And I promise you, My 365 is one of the most positive communities of people all over the world. But you have to decide. You see, when we talk about going somewhere that you've been before, you've all been to this place before, where you've been able to observe your thoughts. You see, when you do this, you're in a position of power. Because when you start looking at it like this, you'll realize, hang on, I don't actually have to listen to this. You know, I don't have to listen to this. I can hear it. I can thank that part of me that is saying this. I can ignore it. I can laugh at it. I can tell it to shut up. I dare you to do this. You're going to go, Pete, is it really that simple? Yes. This has transformed so many people's lives. Oh, Pete, come on, surely it can't be that simple. Are you telling me that I can change my life by changing the way of what I say to myself and stepping back and looking at things differently? Yes. Whether you do it or not is up to you. It's called training. It's called holding yourself accountable, holding yourself up to higher standards, and recognizing when you're being destructive, recognizing when you're being hard on yourself. Is it worth it? Is it worth it, my friends? Is it worth it? You see, so many of you right now are becoming better versions of yourself, and I am very, very proud of you for taking your life in your own hands and going, you know what? I want more. I want more. I'm going to be more. I'm going to be a better version of myself. It takes practice. You see, in all the thoughts that you have inside your head, and we'll look at more of this tomorrow, there's always a space. There's always a space. People think there's often a constant stream of thought, but a thought comes, a thought goes. A thought comes, a thought goes. What about that space in between thoughts? That's often where there's bliss. That's often where meditation is, where you just, what am I saying to myself? You see, it's the truth about lies. The lies that the duck has been telling you, or the lies that you have believed. You can call it the monkey. You can call it the duck, the wolf. It's the voice in you. You know, and I know, that you have far more potential than you realize. In order for you to realize the true potential that you have, it's time for us to wake up. Wake up like we've never woken up before. How many of you are in agreement with me right now? How many of you can feel where I'm coming from? It's time for all of us to have a conversation with ourselves where we realize I'm the one who's in charge here. You used to be very good at this, all of you did. When you were very young, you'd just go off into a land where you'd be lost and people would talk and you wouldn't listen because you were too absorbed in what you were doing. As I said yesterday, we started to believe what other people told us. We started to believe the hype. We bought into it. We've manifested it. You are much more than the sum of anything that you think. You have the power in this moment to be amazing. The word amazing, as all of you know, is to step out of the maze of life and realize, I am amazing. I can do anything. Yes, Susie, and thank you for being so open about what was going on yesterday and then allowing yourself to be supported. Remember, the bigger the challenge that any of us set in life, the bigger the obstacles that are going to hit you that will come along your way. I really appreciate all of you showing up today and taking something from this. What you do, thank you for all the hearts. I really appreciate that. It's really nice of you all. Take a few moments now when this finishes, and if you have a duck, think about what your duck is saying to you. Most people, when they do this, they actually can't hear anything. Because if you give your mind something to do, something amazing happens. But give it one thing to do. And notice when your mind is doing something else, that you bring it back. What's really important? What is wildly important to you in your life? Right here, right now. So I'm working here. In fact, let me take this here. This is us on Instagram. I don't know whether you can see. Look, can you see the room behind? This is where I'm going to be working with the whole team of the hotel here today, which I'm excited. I worked with them yesterday, and we were talking all about your vision for what you want in your life and how to create the vision. See, I've asked the leader to draw the vision, which she did yesterday, for all of the people in the hotel to see where the hotel is going. But that's what we have to do in our life, create a vision of where we're going. Guys, thank you so much. Make sure you join us tomorrow. I'm going to show you a couple of really cool little tips and techniques that you can apply in your life to take control. So to have instant control of your life is to be able to back off from your thoughts. I'm going to end this on Instagram. End that. And press done. Thank you for those of you that join me on Instagram. I do some cool stuff on there, by the way, if any of you are interested in being on Instagram. In fact, the next thing I'm going to do is I am actually going to take a picture of what we're doing on here. Cancel. There we go. Say hello, everyone. Live on Facebook. Guys, have an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here. Give yourself a big hug. Show yourself much love. It's my pleasure to be here and serve you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Remember, what you do now for the next 5-10 minutes is really going to set you up for the rest of the day. Thank you so much, everyone. If you haven't shared this, bottom left-hand corner, please share it. Have a good night's sleep, Melissa in Hawaii. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it. Hannah Bradley Cohen and 18 others just shared your video. Thank you, Hannah. I appreciate that. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.